Boom. I'm drawing a nice little comic strip. I need to make a video. I can't even show my hands to like. Hold on. I need to make a video like every single day to keep. I don't even know. I want to grow a channel out of something, and that means I have to draw or make a video, play a game, do something every day. But yes, I do draw comics, manga specifically. This is a manga. This is my personal project, and I'm just gonna draw a little page, or at least I'm gonna draw most of the page. I have to use my finger to actually like show, like, because this is too boring. I'll draw like this character, go down. This character. Not to mention, I gotta invert and flip this video, or else you'll be watching this backwards, which I can't imagine being pleasant. And I gotta draw the king lastly. So, yeah, let's just get started. I already have a little bit. Okay, just move. Yes, I already have the basic outline of the characters already put up. My reference page is, like back here somewhere. It's this. Shine in the way. Move. Where is it? There it is. So the characters are like that, but I'm going to draw them in full fidelity with full skill as best of my ability. So let's just get started on what I've already got. I've already completed this one a bit. This doesn't really need much. I'm only doing the penciling in because the penning will take a lot more skill, and I don't want to get nervous. But we're starting with him. This character right here, Princeton, the Prince of the Hiraku Kingdom. Yeah, he's the prince. His name is Princeton. His mother was a very different kind of person. She's not in the book. She's long gone. But nonetheless, still a great character. So I like to draw my characters, or at least these little scripts of pages, really fast, because the slower you draw, though, in my opinion, well, not in my opinion, this is just how I work, the worse it looks, because you're more self-conscious about what's happening. His elbows are out right here near the rib cage, which is the little circles that's around all of them. That's their head, rib cage. Usually that's how most artists will draw the body. Sleeves always shoot in one direction. He's kind of like laid back, so they point backwards or this way in the right direction, right of the elbow. And he wears a little small jacket or short jacket, kind of reaches down lower to his crotch area, just a normal freaking jacket. And he's got like this little furry thing because he's the king. He's gotta have like the Gucci fit or whatever Gucci's making nowadays. And yeah, his face, fairly simple. This is when they're all not the younger. This is their age throughout most of the manga. But as the manga progresses, they all get older in one way or another. I can't explain much more than that. But his face, simple. He's black. But he's probably got like the least black features. His jaw's a little too freaking huge. So I'm just gonna fix that real quick. Put that down the halfway point. Give me a reference for an ear. That's about where his ear goes. And his hair is very peculiar. Actually, before I even do that, let me just get a little reference so I do not mess up his hair. A reference of what that would look like. So that's all spiky. All this aims down, spiky. All points toward his face, kind of like a sideburn that's been cut off. And hair kind of goes boom, boom, down. And he has a floating crown that's black because, he's the upcoming king. So that's basically what his hair kind of looks like. It's kind of more smoothed over. I don't know why I put that there. But that's kind of his hair looks like. So now enjoy the process of me building his face in. Yeah, watch. Alright. Small. He's got white eyebrows. His hair is kind of white. More like a grayish color if I was to ever animate this. But I lack the skill right now. The eyes, he's kind of slumped. Not really thinking about much. He's saying goodbye to his dad one last time as they are about to depart on a mission that will change the fate of the world. Boom. Hair. Fairly simple. All of the lines that you already made. All hair has a part somewhere, but his hair is kind of like spiked, so it kind of flows in one direction. Always keep stable. If it cuts off the page, that's fine. It's gonna get cut off anyway when I put it in the scanner. Boom, boom, and boom. Always keep your lines fast when drawing hair, because frankly put, if you draw it slow, you really won't have hair look. It won't look like hair. That's what I've learned. At least that's what I figured out. He has no zipper. Wrinkles, you can bring them down. Simple wrinkles. And just like that, you draw the other side of his little cloth. I'll color that in when I pen it in later. Ears, I hate drawing ears, but because there's so many different ways you see them drawn, like I really don't have a solid reference for how to draw an ear, but I just really put the 2 lines. Simple, easy to manage. And in my style, I don't like drawing nostrils because frankly put, they're ugly. They mess up the face. Or yeah, fix her hair a bit. Kind of slumps over her eyes, but not too much. Boom, 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 done. And that's one character drawn that fast. It doesn't take a lot of effort to draw a character, especially when you actually know the basics and fundamentals of how everything works, like their clothes. And that's why it's important to know how to character design. For instance, this is my personal character, my favorite character. Essentially, he's me. In a way, every single person that makes anything creative, anybody that draws anything or makes a story out of anything, their main character is mostly going to be a reflection of themselves. At least that's how it normally will go, because it's easier to write about you. Well, it's easier to imagine yourself in a certain situation rather than just coming up with an entire character. But that's why you essentially make your main character, which would be him, and you essentially build every other character around him, except don't make him like the center of attention. That's why there's 4 of them, because essentially he is the main character. His name is Sekiro, or Seiko. I was gonna call him Sekiro, but you know, it's copyright. But his name is Seiko, named after the famous watch brand in Japan. And essentially, he's his adopted brother. And what I basically did is that you can pick any 4 of these characters to be your main character, because they'll all have full-fledged plot lines. They're together basically the entire book. Only a couple instances where I've written out where they have to separate for quite a while, but they're the main group. It's kind of like, I'm mostly inspired by Final Fantasy 15. I should be drawing while doing this. But back to character design. Well, let's finish the topic. I was just talking about Joseph. Yeah. Always make your characters connect with each other, even if it's not really the easiest thing to do, because if you can just write around one character and connect everybody to his story or their story, it's way easier to just write. It's way easier. Got it. That was my dad. So basically, once I've written out the story, everyone's, huh? All right, I'm coming. I gotta get my dog real quick. Cut this out. Alright, for the cut, I live with a family of 5. I have chores and things to do, and I have to watch my dog too. Hello, Choo Choo. Give me a bug. Hello. Alright, back to what I was talking about. When writing, always try and write toward a single source in terms of that source being him. He is the source. Everybody should be built around the main character of your story. If not, things can get kind of convoluted. But back to the designs. Always know your character designs. Always draw them out first. Never just start drawing characters when making a manga. This is my first time making one. I'm making one because, frankly put, if you don't start now, you probably never do it. And it's pretty fun to get into it once you know what you're doing and stuff. And I don't know what I'm doing, but it's still fun. But essentially, once you truly master drawing them out from all angles and sides, which I had a hard time doing with because I hate drawing repetitively, but you just got to get used to that. Because once you get used to that, you can draw your character from any angle, any side, any viewpoint. It really doesn't matter. For instance, I don't know why I drew all their jaws not in the middle of their head, because the jaw, you see the circle for the base of the skull, it should be right here. And then you find that line, here goes right below it, jaw starts right there. So I was a little too close with that jaw. Nonetheless, kind of looks like me. that's just how I drew him, because it's way easier to draw yourself than you think. Like, for real, like, drawing yourself is it's probably one of the easiest things you can do as an artist. It's one of the first things that you could master is drawing yourself. But basically, it's a little deviate for me. Deviate. I can't. What's the word? He's a little different from me. I tend to give him the little fade, of course, and then we all have like this little kind of like I don't even know what it's called, like a divot in our hair, kind of like that, and then it rats up right here. And his hairstyle is based off of a hairstyle that like a mix of a high top fade and kind of like but messy on the top. But essentially it's just a high top fade. And that's basically what he rocks most of the show until, you know, he has to change it for whatever reason. I will not disclose that information. In this case, I drew it a little too freaking massive, so I'm gonna have to delete a little bit of this. Because he's got a high top fade. He ain't gonna look like no box, though, I'll tell you that. And it kind of arcs up. Kind of like that. It's kind of hard to draw. He is definitely the most weird hairstyle out of the bunch, like in terms of me drawing it, even though it's basically essentially just I don't even know how to explain it, just like a box with fluff at the top, like black people hair. But it gets difficult. He has two little his coat, he wears a long coat. They all wear coats except for I think Kaneko over here. They all wear coats. And well, no, Elizabeth doesn't wear one either. Never mind, the men wear coats most of the time. This part of the whole lore, like the men in the Crown's Guard or the Crown Circle, that's what these guys are, based off the Crown's Guard from Final Fantasy. But the Crown Circle guards have to wear a certain uniform, and the Crown's women have to do the same thing. For what reason? There is no reason. I just don't want to get into the trouble of drawing them all in the same outfit, because let me tell you one thing, when it comes to character design, when you only have to worry about their face, things get really easy. Like, not to dog on anything, but like you gotta think like Chainsaw Man, or let's see, Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, any anime in terms of which there's like a system that the characters gotta follow in terms of a uniform or clothing. That's cool and all, but I'm not into that. I don't like the idea of just every character looking the same. But it's cool and is way better as Chainsaw and Jujutsu Kaisen is compared to this manga. I will definitely like change up my characters' outfits because, frankly put, it looks cooler if they have some individuality to them. And I kind of added that to the lore as well. All the Crown Circle members, there's like a crap ton of them, but they all have different outfits. They all have kind of like a style that represents kind of what their job is. And so, let's start from the line. He's the prince. All the Crown Circle members are basically protecting the prince. Seiko's power is basically he's the Crown Sword. Well, not his power, his role. He's the Crown Sword. He was raised as his adopted brother, and as the Crown Sword, he has to pledge to basically do what he has to do in order to protect the prince. Right? This right here is Elizabeth. She's the Crown Shield. Basically, she protects him. She grew up with him as well, in a kind of like a. No, actually, I wouldn't even say in a brother-sister relationship. They solely grew up together in formalities. There was no actual relationship that to be had, and that's kind of written into her character because she really doesn't have. She considers these three her friends, but that's probably to the extent that goes. They're not like her family. They're not her diehards. She solely thinks that her purpose in life is simply to be his protector, and that's kind of like how she was raised, because she was raised from literal like 5 years old to be basically prepare herself to die for him. And that's what kind of where her powers come from, which I might get into later, but she's a very developed character. She's probably the most developed character I draw. I mean, in fact, she's like the most well-drawn character I have. I draw her all the time, simply because I just love the design I got for her. But she's by far the most in-depth character in terms of story, because she has a lot going on. And this is Kaneko. Kaneko is basically, so Crown Sword, Crown Shield. She's basically, I forgot the specific term. I have to look at my lore. I wrote it all down, but she's essentially like the Crown's Mage. I didn't want to say that. I don't think I called it the Crown's Mage because it's just too boring of a name. I don't think that like. I think it's too obvious as to what she does. I mean, of course, the sword, shield. He fights. She protects. But she's just the magic user. She's not just a magic user. She's an extremely powerful magic user, and she kind of has a gigantic role in terms of the prince's life, or the course of his life, and inheriting his powers, which I don't think I'll get into that because this video would last too long and I would stop drawing and get completely enwrapped or engrossed in the lore. I'm not really worrying about where her ear or hair is because, frankly put, she has a hat and a long hair. In fact, I don't even have to draw her neck because she wears a bandana. Like, she definitely will be the most hard to draw in terms of like clothing and like flow, but she basically just wears baggy clothing or baggy pants and at least in a hat, so I don't gotta ever worry about her head shape or anything like that. And yeah, that's just the perks of having a hat on your character. I recommend trying it out. Baggy, sometimes artists will draw clothes to make the characters, well, or to escape having to draw the character's divine features. Like, they will do that. And so her hair is very, I wouldn't say complex, but it's definitely by far not the easiest to draw. She definitely has the hardest hair. Drawing long hair is a tedious trial, but it's fun because I love long hair. Real life and in my mangas, I just love long hair. Basically just draw that out, make it all flow together. Drapes down her back, boom, like that. And then I move down to the details. You can't really see, you can see her eyes fairly, but I don't know if I want to draw her eyes because like I'm not really into overlapping all that, so I'm just gonna move all this down, follow the bangs or whatever they're called. I don't know what they're called. The hair that flows to the side. Got a little bit coming off. Draw that, boom, and wrap it up, all flowing that direction. And boom, that's how I draw her hair real quick. She, in terms of character development, remember I said this, when you're drawing side profiles for women, the boobs are always like something that people get all like, I want to say real sensitive about. Like, it's like, why did you give her such big, she doesn't, you got to think about that stuff because people will bring it up. But she by far would have the biggest chest in the manga. Well, not in the entire manga, but like out of these 4 characters, because you know 2 of them are men, so that's already that. She's the bigger of the 2. Let's just say that. Of the 2 women, she's the bigger one. It's not really that big of a deal. I see why artists do it, for one, to satisfy whatever perversions they may be thinking about going at me, because there's just some moments when you're drawing characters where you are just letting your other head talk or think for you or draw for you. And sometimes the other head can talk, they can draw a lot better than the normal one. So what I like to do, I keep things simple. She wears a bandana. Her chest a little bit bigger, shrews a bit, and she's got like a weird, her outfit's kind of like some mixture between modern day and olden day clothing. She doesn't have like full sleeves. So her arms right here. I might as well should make that more clear. Arms right here. Chest, but then her outfit kind of like does this in a way. Hold on. Always check your references, kids. If you don't know what you're drawing, always check the references, because it's better to reference it and not be wrong than to reference it and be freaking wrong. Trying to find her. Where is she? I should check the smaller stuff. Alright, I found a good picture of her. This is her character. I can show you this one. That's basically what she looks like. I kind of fricked up her eyes. This is an older drawing, but she has a more modernized look. More easier to, draw in a way. So yeah, like I was thinking, hair kind of ends right here. She's got, I don't know if I have to worry about that, but she's got like clothing details, right? Just that goes up. There's one right there on the side. This is a cloth, so it's kind of gonna wrinkle toward her arm. And this is darker, so I won't have to worry about that. That's another thing. Most of these characters were black because, you know, lore reasons, and, you know, I only got 2 colors to work with, white and black. Maybe a monotone gray. But that's her character. And she's involves drawing a lot of, like, lines, because wrinkles on the clothes, or baggy clothes. Which is perfect, because I don't gotta worry about, like, extreme details and precise lines. Just gotta freaking fill in the gaps, if you know what I mean. So, her eyes, she's very bright. Her character is, I wouldn't call her the dumb one for any means. She's actually the smartest out of every single character. She's the smartest one because, of course, she's a mage. Being smart kind of like is part of her character. But she's like the oblivious girl who's also very stupid. Like, yeah, if that was a way to explain her, she's very smart when it comes to anything except normal occurrences in life. She's very out there, kind of like Patrick Star. You think he's stupid, but no, the man's a freaking genius. Kind of like that. So, her hat, simple, kind of a weird design, normal witch hat kind of, but she's not a witch, she is a mage. She's more akin to a female wizard or a sorceress. That's what a witch is. Shut up. So bring this over, boom. She's got like a little band around her hat, and on the other side she has a flower, which is going to be a freaking pain to draw over and over and over and over again. Yeah, that's gonna be a pain. That looks like a flower to me. Does that look like a flower to you? I think that looks perfect. Let me bring that back to a normal state. And so that is our main cast. I'll invert the picture. I keep forgetting I need to invert this. But that's our main cast of characters. You got Elizabeth, Princeton, Seiko, and Kanako. The Crown's Guard and the Prince. Alright, let me see if I can move this down. Get you guys a good view of the king. Move up, move up, move up, move up. There we go. This is the king's face. The king is a very distinguished gentleman. He is not, I want to actually, let me pop out my reference picture. That's basically it. This is the king. King Hiraku of the Nation of Light, or the sun, or whatever. Well, that's what Hiraku means. It means sunlight, whatever. So let's just get started now that you can actually hear me. He has a very interesting design. Kind of a scary one, actually. He's old, but he's got like this power to him because he's a freaking unit. Like, he's literally a unit. In fact, if I go back to the original reference page for this, I can show you his actual like preemptive sketch design. Kind of poor, but like I said, it's a sketch. But he's old. That's basically what that's pretty much it. I don't know where I was going with that. In fact, I have to draw another box here because this is of him talking right here. I'll probably make that a little bigger because he says a lot. But his design is very let me look back at it again. I don't want to mess this up. Very, yeah, I messed up a little bit over here already. He doesn't have that. But, essentially, he's just the king. He's supposed to look kind of soft, but kind of like in an intimidating manner. He's not by any means weak. In fact, I kind of like don't really do him justice for actually how strong he is. Because, I don't really have a chance to, in terms of writing the story. But he's old. He has a really dope haircut, so let's just get started on that. I explained how I draw hair before, but the first part got cut out, like I said. So I essentially start out with the basic shape of what the hair does. And for him, he has like the very anime haircut, like really anime haircut in terms of his age and for how he looks, but he's got a very young, modernized anime haircut. But it's still freaking kind of cool. his hairline would be up here somewhere, so I just traced this back down. If you look at a real human head, our what's it called? We have like a divot in our hair, kind of like starts right at the edge of the eyebrow, and then that's where it comes back and goes down, or at least his goes down because he has a beard. And fluff that out. Actually, this should be higher. Fluff this out. He has a beard. And actually, yeah, that's it. His beard would be here. His jaw would be around right here. Ears around here. I don't really have to draw it though, so that's good. And jaw would be, imagine like this line going all the way down here. If I continue to draw this, his jaw would be kind of like right here. Boom. So I'm gonna just work with that. Try and build it around because I can't really see it that well, but work with what you got, not with what you don't. So when I draw eyes, side profile, I definitely keep the triangle kind of method. Draw the top kind of straight because he's looking down. At least that's, yeah, he's looking down. Pupil, keep it very thin because, you know, he's looking down, and it's a side profile. Your eye is a shape. It's not just like a ball. Probably draw a little bit of eyelid here. He is old. He has a little bit of wear and tear going on in the face. Cheekbones. Bring this down, and then definitely a cheekbone would be right beside this little divot. Kind of like brings it in perfectly, actually. And his, let's say he's got a little bit of definition because he's old as frick. He's an old man. Well, not too old. He's got a son, but you know, he's getting up there. Beard hair. Just keep your lines ragged because it's hair. I kind of drew it way too high, but you just essentially just keep it aligned, bring it back. Boom. And his haircut is kind of weird. So this is his hairline, right? But his hair actually like bubbles out and kind of like wraps around, kind of like that, before fading off into a beard. Because you'll see in this next panel, his next panel is like his full, like kind of like a mug shot, just him. And he's got very anime hair. It is very, I don't even know, it doesn't look his age, but you know, that's what's the fun in having a character. I'll delete or erase this either later. Don't really feel like doing it right now. And that's essentially all that's happening in this panel. It's not really hard to draw a panel, especially since I'm not worrying about details right now, because I'm essentially just drawing this out. And his beard kind of like shoots out before coming back up. You'll see it in the next panel. But this would be his haircut. Kind of like make this a little raggedy because it's hair. His ear would be right here, so bring that right there. Just bring it a little bit out. In fact, actually, it would look a little bit like more like down here. And I bring this down and make it pop a bit, and that's where his little beard would shut out on the side of his head. And that's all. It's fairly simple. I am not the best artist. I will not claim that. This is my first manga I've ever drawn. I've drawn for years at this point, but I've never really thought about making a manga until now. But nonetheless, what the frick are you talking about? None the least. I want to draw this, and now I gotta figure out how I'm gonna angle this freaking camera, because I don't know about you, but I can't draw upside down. And I think I'm gonna have to strategize here. All right, if I bring this like this, boom, bam. I'm not thinking this through. How am I gonna do this? Oh my gosh, I should have thought about this. This camera stand I'm using is not tall, at all. It's like very opposite of tall, actually. It's very bad. In fact, I don't know how I'm gonna angle this camera, but I'm gonna try and get the best shot here. This is not going well. I'm so lost right now. If you think you're lost, I'm the one I have to move the camera. Oh God. All right. new plan. If I angle it this way and make the camera move up a teeny tiny bit, just a tiny bit, and move it down. And then, yes, I'm a freaking genius. You guys know that. I'm a genius. All right, this is the final shot of this panel. Should add the little dialogue spike here. I like to draw my speech bubbles like this. It just brings more uniqueness to it. And okay, let's draw King Hiraku. He's got a very, like I said, anime style. So let's start with his hair because that's frankly the easiest thing to draw. Down here, second one kind of like laps over his eye, goes down his head. Make sure it's in the middle of his forehead, you know, like hairlines are usually, or at least Widow's Peaks. And then you'll be surprised, but his hair is basically like this. It's basically a triangle. Yep, kind of like that. Kind of in that direction. I'm joking you not. Very, like I said, very young kind of like haircut, but he's an old man. Ears would be right here. As much as it pays me to draw ears, you can see his ears, and then the rest of his hair kind of like falls back behind him, kind of like that. In fact, I should make this a little bit shorter. It's not that big. This is the pain of sometimes using an electronic eraser. Sometimes you'll smudge the ink, like, not ink, pencil, the lead, kind of like right here. Like, it kind of like embeds it in the paper and you can't erase it. It's extremely annoying. But you gotta deal with things when drawing because, you know, art is art. Art hurts sometimes. So I'm just gonna bring it around. I'm gonna just draw his base body. This is his rib cage. This is his arms, of course. The legs right down there. Throne room, but he's sitting fine. I'll work on the throne details later. But this is the characters. Your eyes start right there next to your where your ears would be at. And he has fairly simple eyebrows, so I'm just gonna bring those down. Always draw both eyes at the same time so you can avoid, you know, not messing up the symmetry. I'm still gonna probably mess it up, but it'll be a lot easier to not mess up if I do this method. Get rid of that line. I know where it's supposed to be. Boom. All right. Not the best nose, but it'll work. Boom. Don't forget face wrinkles, because he's an old man. I don't know why I keep saying that, but he's an old man. And this, I was talking about the beard, kind of juts out, kind of like spikes down. Very kind of a different beard. And then he has like a little thing that men have. I don't know, the thing under his lip or whatever you call that. My phone went off. Alright, so I'm gonna just bring his eyes down, save time. It's not perfect, don't worry about it. It's art. Nothing in art is perfect. Even digital art is not perfect. Alright, bring that there. Bring it there. And that looks like a pretty decent eye to me. And that's basically his face. He doesn't look as old as I want him to be, so I'm just gonna give him a little bit more wrinkles. It'll be a lot easier to fill these in with the G pen. Once I pen this in. Well, I'm not going to pen it in this video because this is correct. I'm already at a good time. But, like I said, this is a great time to get the reference page out. Because if there's one thing that you never want to do when drawing your characters is freaking miss out on the outfits or mess up on the, you know, like the actual... You know, don't mess up the outfits. That's all you gotta really remember is that the outfits are important and they're not just there. There's certain guides that you have to follow when drawing your character in the exact same way every single time. And though I explained this in the first part as well, but I'm not a big fan of like the mangas or animes that make all their characters wear like the same outfits and clothes because I don't think that brings out any type of individuality in the character. whatsoever. Like, it's quite literally the opposite of the individuality. Everybody freaking looks the same. But nonetheless, I still love animes that do that. Kind of like Jujutsu Kaisen or what's it called? Jujutsu Kaisen does it, and Chainsaw Man does it as well. I don't know how I did this before, and now I'm fumbling the bag so bad. All right, back to where we were. And so move this to the left, the right, the front. All right. So he's got, it's a weird outfit. He's got a collar, that boy collar, or yeah, popped collar. Brings it in. It's gonna be on his sides because he's sitting down, and it sways outward like that, right? That's his collar, right? In between his collar, you got that, and boy, he's got a neck, right? But on in front of that neck, he has a dress shirt with the tie. In the lore of this world, all the Crown's Guard and the king and the prince, and if there was a queen, the queen, if they wear formal gear, usually any type of tie, there is a formal, literal tie that they must wear, and that is a square tie. If you don't know what that is, it's basically just a tie with a square at the end. There is no pointed arrow-like ties in the Crown's Guard, and if you have one, you are not a Crown's Guard. And his would be folding down, I think, because he's sitting down. Shirt folds in this direction because he's sitting, of course. I don't have to worry about the button up. And his jacket has 3 buttons, or yeah, 3 buttons in a way, if you can call them that. And if you're wondering why they're big, it's because they're not really buttons. They're like these little straps that keep the jacket, kind of like a buckle clip. And they just keep his jacket attached to him, so it doesn't fall off him. And I'll have to delete those or erase those little parts of the tie afterward. But that's what those are. Just little clamps to keep his jacket from falling. And my dog is asleep, so I gotta be a little bit more quiet because I don't want to wake him up, because he'll start barking. So bring his sleeves down. Sleeves are by far the most annoying thing to draw sometimes, but once you get used to it, they get pretty easy. So I'm gonna just rough sketch these. Here's a popped collar. His hand is supposed to be that little squiggly mark right there. I didn't really do the best job of representing that. So let me just pop out some fingers real quick. Boom, boom. Up a bit. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. Fist. He's holding his chair like grasping a tit or something. Like he's got a firm grip on that chair. That's very bad fingers. So that is horrendous. Oh my god. I can draw hands, everybody. Don't pray. I can actually draw hands. But all right. Let me just make sure this doesn't look like a freaking just bad. All right. So boom. All right. I'm gonna draw these ones. I'm gonna try and draw these ones a little better because I need to pen this over later. So that's gonna help if I heard my mom call me. I guarantee you in the next 5 seconds she's gonna call me to do something. Like, almost guarantee you actually. She's gonna be like, Joseph, get over here to wash these dishes or something. And then I'm gonna have to cut the video short, which I really don't want to do. So let me fix his hand. Thumb is trying to resting. All right, finger 1. All right. Yep, told you. If you wake up the dog, he barks, and mom just yelled and woke him up, and now he wants to investigate who's in the house. All right. Speed draw. Okay, let me let the dog out real quick. Chewie, shut up. Stop barking now. Okay, I'll be in there in a second. Yes. I don't know what it was. Like, I don't know if y'all's heard that. I don't know what's with black moms and dishes. Like, my mom would threaten me, if these dishes aren't washed, you ain't gonna eat no food. Like, I didn't even put the dishes there in the first place. You did when you cooked dinner. And so, yes, I might have the obligation to, wash them, but, like, stop using so many dishes to make dinner. I hope she didn't hear that, because if she does, she really is gonna kill me. I'm gonna hurry up and draw this fast, because my mom will not feed me if I do not do the dishes. So, put that there, wrinkle here. I'm just gonna speed draw this. I'm sorry I don't draw on these videos as fast as I usually do, for the sake of timing and wasting time. Pants. He has very common pants, kind of like jeans, dress slacks. Give a little bit of that, but they're pretty much straight, so I don't really got to worry about wrinkles. Pop that down, boom. Slacks, boom. 1, 2, 3. This is how I usually draw, in a fast, rigid pace, because the faster you draw, the more you can pop out content, the more precise your line will be, or the more you'll want it. Of course, you have the wrinkled pants, boom, boom, just a little bit. Actually erase this. Good dress slacks. Cape will drape down his seat, kind of like that, and it splits into 3 parts. So keep that like that. And this one will fold over, kind of like that. And for his hands, I kind of messed up on this one. Gotta make those probably like that, more formally like that. Boom, boom, boom. He's got cuffs. Don't forget the cuffs. The cuffs are the parts. Boom. Chair. Kind of sits to the more to the right. His chair's not symmetrical, but again, I'm a beginning artist. I'm a beginning manga artist. I'm not really trying to make his chair have a personality. All right, and his chair should be like boom. And that should be it for this one. That's the panel. I wonder if I can actually show the whole panel and still keep it in like a genuine frame. But this is the panel. I'll invert this. I'm telling myself this so I do not forget to invert it. I can't even. Which way am I looking, bro? All right. Let's start from the beginning. Start down here. All right, bro, move. Oh my God, there. First, second, third. The whole panel. Quick draw. But before I actually do that, before I end this, I forgot to draw his hair. So he has like 5 strips of hair. This is 1. It's in the front. 2. Same kind of thing, kind of deal, kind of direction. 3. A little bit over. 4. And then 5. All connecting to the center. And that's his hair. Kind of a wild anime haircut, but again, it's my manga. I can do what I want. And this flows over. This flows over. Don't forget that little bang he has, whatever it's called. And then his ear, boom. Ear 2, boom. And then this wraps up right there. That is the whole panel. Thanks for watching the video. This is fairly quick for a drawing one. And I'm gonna find out the right setup to actually make it so this is more watchable and not as freaking rigid. In fact, let me just end that right now. I don't know why I'm looking over there. The camera's right here. But thank you for watching. I draw mangas fairly all the time. This is my first one, so I'm always drawing pages for it. I've got a lot of progress on it, so yeah, stay tuned. I'm gonna be trying to draw at least a page, maybe twice a week. I'm drawing pages every day. I'll try to record it twice a week. So yeah, I'll catch you next one. TBX Show out. Peace.